Alright, welcome back. So today let's continue working on Scufris, and so far what we have is a really simple multi-agent system that uses two LLMs, a couple of tools, and is able to answer to our prompts. So the technology stack, I guess, that I'm using is Ollama as the LLM provider, and from Ollama we are using Llama 3.2. It's a pretty small model because we are limited on the GPU, and I think I'm also using DeepSeek R1, the 7 billion parameters model, for certain tasks. Okay, and I mean, it doesn't really matter. We can use this as a proof of concept, and then if things go well, we can try to use bigger models, but let's use the smaller ones just for the sake of it, to make it run faster, download the models faster, so it's everything is a bit simpler to work with. So as I said, what we have so far is really basic two agents that help each other. I guess Scufris is the supervisor, and then we have a coding agent that is coding expert. It's not really that prompted. We have to improve that aspect. We also have a couple of tools, like we have this weather tool and we have delegate tool, and the delegate tool is kind of interesting. It's basically the tool that links two agents together. So as you can see here, we have Scufris, which is a supervisor, and it has a tool that delegates to the coding agent. So that's kind of how we are like our workflow. So my plan for today would be to add more agents, maybe even have something like a planning agent that creates tasks and like a plan for our other agents. So that way we can have a list of tasks, and then it's gonna check if the tasks are done or not, and based on that, Scufris is gonna do its job. I mean, Llama 3.2 is kind of meh from what I saw, like the small one, because sometimes it's like calling the wrong tools and such. So maybe we can try to pretend that it's gonna work and maybe use Mistral in the future, which is I mean, it's still small, but it's a bit bigger. So yeah, but if we ask Scufris, how is the weather in Paris, it should try to check with the weather tool. It's gonna get a response from weather.in, and then it will be able to formulate its answer. But see how this, but I mean, it's a pretty simple question, but see how it's only like it's not really an agentic, whatever that means, workflow. It's more of just a pipeline, because it's hitting the supervisor, then the supervisor uses a tool, and then it gives us an answer. So ideally what we would have, but we need better prompts. Maybe we can try to have a prompt that tells it to improve its own system prompt, like find ways to improve yourself, which would be maybe a way to get the Terminator. Sure. I mean, obviously it's not like that, but yeah. So having some kind of more complicated prompt that requires a lot of steps, and at that point maybe a planner would make sense, because it would create some tasks like subtasks, and then Scufris, our one and only Scufris, would delegate other agents to do the tasks, and then it gets the answers and so on, right? And then if the tasks are not done yet, it runs again and again, and it's like a loop until the tasks are done. And okay, I mean, I've used the name Scufris, maybe you don't know where it comes from, but I guess if we check the README, Scufris is basically Scuffed Javris from Iron Man. So yeah. Okay, now that we know the lore, we can actually try to figure things out. So something that might be useful for us is this model file, which basically looks like a Docker file, and it lets you set like a base model. You can even set parameters like the temperature, which I've set to 1 because I want Scufris to be creative, like really random. Although now that I think about it, maybe that's what causes it to be a bit stupid. But you know, I mean, it's Scufris Javris after all, so it had like we have to play the role play. So let's leave it as 1, and then you can even set the system prompt, which I think it's kind of useful because you don't have to write it in the code itself, and you save on mental capacity when you go through the code. So I think it's a good idea to have it here. And yeah, I guess even then, this entire project, it's supposed to be kind of hard coded around this AI agent. Like, even though we have these generic things like the agent struct, which, I mean, yeah, sure, it could be used as a library. Yeah, I mean, it's still, basically my kind of tool. So you could use it as a library and implement your own things, but yeah, I don't think I want to have 2 separate repos. It would be too annoying. So we'll have only one, both the library and the tool itself. So yeah. Okay, so as I said, the goal for today is to create multiple model files, have different kind of agents, and have them interact with each other. So maybe trying to have some cooler stuff than we have right now. And for the tools, I mean, it's gonna be a hard path because I'm not sure if there are tools implemented in Go for this purpose, so we have to implement all the tools ourselves, which it's not that hard because, for instance, the weather tool is just a GET request to website, so it's pretty simple. But you can imagine that tools that are more complicated, maybe we want some kind of tool that lets you run commands in Bash, and I'm thinking that I don't want to let it run Bash commands directly on basically on my user. So maybe I want to have a Docker, like a Docker container for running the commands. Although it would also be interesting to let it have access to my project files. Hopefully it's not gonna make a PR where it deletes everything, but yeah. So yeah, let's try to do some prompting basically. So yeah. Okay, so, and I guess this idea with the planner and the entire like teamwork, it's kind of inspired by Crew AI, which is, it's made in Python though, so we are not using it. It's kind of similar to what we are doing, but it's more of a general purpose library where you have these kind of similar agents. And though what I kind of don't like about it is that you have to write the tasks yourself, and I would like to have these things kind of emerge from the interaction, the LLMs, if you will. So yeah, and it's pretty similar though. So we have these kind of agents with a backstory. The backstory is basically the system prompt, but it's another way of saying it. They have goals, which I think it's the description of our agents. So if you look at our agents, they have some descriptions. right? And I think this goal is basically the description. And of course, role is just the name, is what it is. Then for the tasks, as I said, I would like these things to be kind of, emergent behavior from the agents themselves. Like they should come up with the, I guess, uh, if we are gonna create a planning agent, it's gonna come up with these things by default because we are gonna put it in the system prompt. But I think that's an interesting idea if it can come up with the tasks. So we just give it a prompt like write the system prompt for a better planner to replace yourself, to replace you. So it's gonna try to come up with some tasks, I would assume, right? And how this code is set up, it's kind of similar. So it creates the agents with tools, right? What we have different, I guess, is the delegate tool is explicit. I guess in crew AI, it's kind of implicit when you create a crew. So you pass in a list of agents into another class, and I guess it makes the links here, but we explicitly state the links, which I think it's a better idea because you don't want them to call necessarily each other. You want the supervisor to call the coder, but not necessarily the coder to call the supervisor. Although maybe, maybe the coder needs some info from somewhere else, so we might want at some point to call to Scufris. We'll have to see. Okay. But right now it's mainly used as a single step where it asks, give me the code. So, right. And then that's kind of similar. And then here it creates the tasks, right? So I would like these tasks to appear by themselves, basically. Right, that's the idea. Because here it gives it like a prompt. It creates the tasks for that prompt, the topic, and it puts the tasks here. So again, would be cool to create the tasks like an emergent behavior, right? So let's try to see how it goes. So for the models, we're gonna have a model file, probably model file for our planner. Is that how you type it? Planner. Okay, Microsoft Planner, nice. So let's copy paste this. Let's use, okay, so set syntax Docker file. So I think let's use llama 3.2. I'm not sure what's the default temperature. What's kind of sad about geometry, it doesn't have tool capabilities, so that's it kind of sucks. Not sure if it has, whatever. We're gonna use the default temperature, I guess, or maybe we can just set it to 0.6 or whatever, just to make it a bit more. Okay, so let's try to come up with a really simple system prompt that we're gonna use initially, and then hopefully by the end of the video we'll have a better prompt. So we can even try to use the example from here. So we have this, like at least the style of speech, right? So we are a seasoned researcher with a knack for uncovering the latest developments in some topic, known for your ability to find the most relevant information and present. Okay, so it's like a CV description, I guess, and present it in a clear and concise manner. Oh no, it's the J word. It's job. It scares me. Okay, so let's say kind of something similar. So I guess I'm just gonna copy paste this. So you're a seasoned planner, whatever that means. Come on, with a knack for uncovering the like. Who uses this word though? Never seen that word before in my, Okay, so you're a seasoned planner, and then maybe known for your ability. I guess it works to have some kind of description. With a really good sense of organization, or with really good skills in creating tasks, I guess. It honestly doesn't really matter that much. So known for ability to find for your to find the most relevant tasks and present them in a clear and concise. I guess clear and concise, it's not really the best way to do it because we want them to be as detailed as possible in as much detail and present them in a really detailed manner, I guess. So you're a seasoned planner with really good skills in creating tasks, known for your ability to find the most relevant tasks and present them in a really detailed manner. Sure, why not? Oh, why not? So what we can do now is Olama create, and let's call this one planner and model file dot planner. So we're gonna use this guy as the planner. Perfect. So now let's go back to main, and this could be fun to try, like have a YAML file or a JSON file or whatever with the agents, and then have some kind of API that loads that file. But honestly, implementing a domain-specific language is kind of annoying. So what I would like to do instead is maybe format this thing a bit better. So we have all of these things, and yeah, basically as you can see, we have the tool registry, we have the LLM provider, and here we create an agent with a name, description. I guess this one is the model file, Scufris. We pass it the LLM client, we pass it the tool registry so it can add tools. So that's basically our Scufris agent. So let's try to have a planner, and we're going to create the planner agent. So I think maybe the only advantage of using something like this crew data structure is that you don't have to create variables for each one. You just put them in a list and you're done. If we notice that this thing grows way out of hand, we can try that. but right now it's fine. Like we could have a function that creates all the agents and we don't have to worry about the variables, but whatever. So this guy is the planner agent, an expert at creating tasks and setting goals. I mean, I guess we could include setting goals in the model file. Really good skills in creating tasks and setting goals. Okay. We don't have, let's not forget to rebuild it. So this is the annoying step, I guess, that you have to actually create the models. I mean, as long as you don't forget about it, it's fine. So this is gonna be the planner, right? We take the LLM called planner, and then we have to give it a client and registry, whatever. So that's how we are gonna do a planner. Nice. For now, let's ignore the coder. Let's also maybe ignore the weather tool. I mean, I would have what I would do instead of just using a weather tool directly is have a separate agent that is like the weatherman and it can do more stuff, because there is this thing, I'm not sure how it's, I was gonna say this thing called but it's not. If you have too many tools or too many agents in a single supervisor, it becomes dumber. So what you want to do is create some kind of hierarchy. So we have this supervisor, it has a planner, it also has maybe HR, oh no, the other H word, maybe it also has the coding team lead or whatever, and then the team lead has a coding agent or whatever, something like that. So it's kind of like a hierarchy where each supervisor has just a few other agent or tools, because otherwise it's gonna be, or I mean, I guess tools, because everything is a tool in our thing. So you don't want to have too many tools, because then it becomes a bit confused, because it's like too much information. Like the system prompt becomes too big, and once the prompt is too big, randomness becomes a way too random, I guess. So that's the main issue. You have too many tokens, and then I guess the context is too diluted, right, for it to form a really good answer or a really good train of thought. So yeah, as we have here the planner, we'll try to think about these tools, how to include them. So right now let's just add our delegate to planner. So it's really just this simple. You have the agent and you add delegate to planner. I mean, I know it's kind of annoying. I added this tool wrapper just to have this with logging. Like I wanted to separate logging from the tools and the agent, so I added like this decorator pattern to add logging. So basically it's just a structure, it has a tool as a parameter, and then it has this function with logging, and it just adds a logger on the tool. So it makes it so that you don't have to pass loggers inside of the agents. It's kind of nice, in my opinion, but it adds this boilerplate. Maybe we can try to figure out a way to fix it. Maybe it's like a single function that creates a tool with add. We'll see. So this is gonna be the planner, right? It creates a plan. But I guess we still need some kind of other agents to be able to work with the plan. So if our goal, I guess, is to improve the system prompts, we should try to add a system, or I guess prompt engineer in our team. So I guess that's the next model file that we have to make. So it's model file prompter. I guess that's like a meme way of saying it. Prompter. Yeah. Yo, that's me. No, I'm kidding. Okay, I guess prompter is the okay, so syntax docker file. Perfect. So we still use llama 3.2. Okay. I guess I would use this one because it looks more creative. So it's your meticulous analyst with a keen eye for detail. I mean, the first sentence honestly works. You're known for your ability to turn complex data. That's not. So I guess you are known for prompting analyst. Prompting. You're known for your ability to create really good prompts for large language models. Let's not really use acronyms like LLMs. So for ability to create really good prompts for large language models, comma, making, I guess making it easy for others to making for really good prompts for large language models with maybe with clear and easy to understand instruction and maybe examples, because having examples in prompts is a good idea. I think this one's fine. You're a meticulous prompting and analyst with a keen eye for detail. You are known for your ability to create, I guess. So maybe it's gonna work. We'll see. So we have the prompter model file. The prompter. The fuck? Oh, I said prompter. Prompter. Nice. So we have the prompter at this point, so we can create it. And here I'm just gonna have the prompter in the root, like of the tree basically, so it's below the supervisor. The prompt analyst agent, like we're gonna give it really like a a corporate friendly name, so that the HR is happy with this. So an expert at creating prompts for large language models. Perfect. This is gonna be our prompter. Yeah, like this one, but it's on you if you put the wrong name. Okay. So let's create a delegate to the prompter from our prompter. And again, I think I'm not sure, maybe the prompter should be in another theme, but maybe it's fine for now to keep it like this. So let's say we have this setup, right, with the supervisor, the planner, and the prompter. So let's see if we can maybe try to get this thing working to do something. So if we just run Scufris, it would be nice if it had access to its prompt, but create a system prompt for a planning agent. So let's see what it does. I need to check with delegate to prompter. I guess okay, I mean it already is done, but here's an example of a high quality system prompt for a planning agent. But I mean, okay, so how can we an expert at creating tasks and setting goals? Maybe we want to influence this guy, to try and create tasks via the system prompt. So Scufris, create a plan for to create a plan and make sure it is being followed. Olama create Scufris. Okay, let's try it. I mean, it's also the fact that it's only the 3 billion parameter model, but create a system prompt for planning agent. Oh, I mean, okay, that's fine, but it also didn't goal assist users in creating personalized plans and achieving their objectives. What is this? Whatever. So agent tasks, task generation, generate a list of relevant whatever, task detailing. Wow. I guess another one is ask yourself if the goal is achieved and complete each task before you provide a final answer. I don't know, like maybe. Like we need to get it in the to force it to go back and run recursively. Basically, that's what we need to do, right? Because here in the agent code we have, if you look at chat, it basically runs the request, right, with the entire history. then it adds that as a message. If it's a tool call, then it's gonna do some stuff. It adds all the tool calls in the message history, right? And then it calls recursively to chat again. So if on the second call, it's not gonna have any tools for some reason, it's just gonna create the final answer. But what I would hope to happen is it to have some tool calls, right? That's what I would like to see. And maybe like a tool call to some other agent somehow. But for that reason, I think Scufris shouldn't really do any work itself. So we might want to have even more agents, but that's annoying. Create a system prompt for a planning agent. Dude, I'm typing that wrong every time. Okay, I need to check with delegate to planner. That's a good first step. But then annoyingly it just does that. So here is a system prompt. Yeah, but it's kind of annoying because here it just creates it. So maybe what we can do is have some important footnote, which is gonna say your job. I mean, we have to censor the word job is to, or I guess you only need to supervise the you I guess you are tasked with being a supervisor. Do not do any other tasks. Right? So maybe that's something we want to add in our things. You are tasked with being a prompt engineer. Do not do any other tasks. And then for the planner, you are tasked with being a planner. Do not do anything, do not do any other tasks. I mean, in the end, we are gonna get the better prompt ourselves by doing this stuff until it's gonna work. So let's create this one. Let's create all of them. Maybe I'm gonna do a script. Create a system prompt for a planner agent. Okay, I mean it makes sense because it like create a system prompt. But again, I would like to have the create a plan. Forget. I mean, I thought it's pretty obvious here. Ask yourself, create a plan. I mean, maybe this is conflicting. Make sure to have a plan and set of with a set of tasks and goals. Maybe that's better because it's not like conflicting with the last thing, with the important one. Because create a plan, it's kind of like I have to create a plan, but this is more like make sure to have a plan. Hopefully it's create a system prompt for a planning agent. Okay, hopefully it's gonna delegate the planner. Goal, provide a clear and concise. Is it too much context maybe? I mean, what we can do obviously is to try and use something like Mistral, like a different model, see if it helps. So Scufris works with that. Hopefully it runs. I'll be honest, I'm not sure if it's too big. Okay, so we have all of them running with let's create a system prompt for a planning agent. I guess that's the advantage of using wow. I mean, honestly, that's pretty good system prompt, I'll be honest. Create a prompt for a math agent. Oh, that straight up. The fuck? Okay, let's have another idea. What if we use, so DeepSeek R1 doesn't support tools, which is kind of annoying. So maybe we can use DeepSeek on these ones. And then for Scufris, we are gonna still use that. Okay, so create a prompt for a math agent. I need to check with delegate prompter. I guess hard coding it makes sense. Like we can just hard code, make sure you first check with the planner, right? Like here we could say you can answer question, you can answer tools, make sure you use tools if you are powerful AI advisor or that can help with tasks. You can answer questions and use tools to get information. From other agents, maybe. Make sure to use tools if you are unsure what to do. By using the planning agent, ask yourself if the goal is achieved and complete each task. Oh, maybe that's gonna help. Create prompt for a math agent, let's say. It still just goes to prompter. Maybe the description is not enough. An expert at creating tasks and setting up the planner agent. Yeah. You are tasked with supervising. Is that a word? Supervising? I guess. Supervising the AI pipeline. I don't know. The AI workflow. You can answer questions. Make sure to use tools to reach the goal. Make sure to have a plan with a set of tasks. Yeah. Like the problem with ask yourself if the goal is achieved and whatnot. It's not really. So if the model just replies with a tool call, so it wants to call to a tool, I don't think it generates any completion. So we might want to implement maybe we can implement a tool that lets the LLM talk with itself, but that's kind of lame. It should be possible to do it from the prompt. So create a prompt for a math agent. Like that's what I would like to see. Delegating to the planner, and then after we get the plan, delegating to the prompter. Let's do important. Make sure to have a plan. You need to have a plan. Use the planning agent. But see, like that's the annoying part, because here we have already tool calls. Right, so this stuff is included in the prompt. So it's kind of annoying that we would need to say you have to do that, but create a prompt for math. Maybe it's like the prompt, an expert at creating prompts. So it's like maybe too simple of a task. I'll find some ways to improve a math LM agent. And it's annoying. I need to check with delegate to prompter. I'm curious what it's gonna reply with though. let's not even trying anymore. Okay, let's I guess what would be cool maybe to implement as a feature would be what's it called, like the async, showing the text in asynchronously. So streaming, yeah, that's what it's called. Okay, but that's not in the plan, in the script. Okay, so what did I want to do? I guess these ones are using DeepSeek, which is kind of slow, I guess, because I'm also recording. So in my testing, it was a bit better while I was testing it. So I guess it's mainly because I'm also recording, so that's taking some capacity. Okay, so find some ways to improve LLM agent for doing math. I mean, it just goes to prompter. Yeah, but it's kind of annoying that it maybe it should want to do the next steps and such. Delegation complete. Create a plan and then create a plan for finding ways to improve a math LLM agent and then try to explore them. Something. I mean, still to fucking prompter. Come on. Didn't I add both of them? Yeah, I did. Planner and prompter. The fuck? Create a plan for creating C project. Why does it just go to prompter? Is it mentally unwell? Maybe the prompter is just such a cool guy. I don't know. The prompt analyst agent, an expert at creating prompts for large. And let's remove it. Okay, just something annoying like this. Oh, so it's prompter. Okay. Create a plan for writing my first C project. So now it goes to planner. Interesting. Like, why does it go to prompt? Create a plan for writing my first C project. Okay. I mean, I guess it obviously it really depends on the prompts. Like, that's really important. But again, if I would say something like find ways to improve a large language model, it would go directly into the prompter because it's mentally yeah, I guess probably it's because this contains large language models. An expert at creating tasks and setting goals. You must create a plan. Okay, so you are Scufris, powerful AI assistant that can help with tasks. Maybe this one is annoying. You must. Let's keep it shorter because obviously long prompts are bad. I guess. Find ways to improve my LLM. Straight into the prompter. Create a plan. Plan. Okay, I mean, yeah. I guess that's the, let's say, the sad part about working with the LMs, especially for like content, because it's really random, so you don't know if it's gonna work. Like it's not like Proof, where you know everything was working because it's basically just a compiler. It's more like, is it gonna work? Who knows? But we can still try some things. I mean, maybe the prompter idea doesn't really work. Okay. Based on their example from Crew AI, they did this part with the researcher and the analyst. Interesting. Maybe we can figure out like an example. But like the planner should be a thing, I would say. Like it needs to be a thing, but I'm not sure why Scufris doesn't want to create a fucking plan. It's annoying. Okay. Make sure you call the planner. Maybe if we put like that. We rebuild Scufris. I want to improve my large language model. I don't know, like this one, it's like, why would you call it prompter? Because it's nothing to do with prompt, so it's weird. I've created a plan, so it's I will call the planner to discuss specific goals and requirements. The planner, please wait while I call the planner. God damn, that's funny. Okay, that's pretty funny, but why did the tool, oh shit, why did the tool call ask for the prompter? Like, why did that happen? Did I make like a mistake here? No. Like, if you ask for a plan, sure, it's yeah, an expert at creating tasks and setting goals. Can be used to check if the... I mean, it's kind of making it too long. Must be used. I don't know. I want to improve my LLM. I need a plan to improve my LLM. It still goes to the prompter. I need a plan to grow some vegetables. Yeah, I mean, I guess if it's LM related, it just goes to the prompter. Let's remove that part. The prompt and an expert at creating prompts. I want a plan to improve my LM. Oh my god, that's crazy. I mean, Mistral wasn't really that great when I tried it, right? I want to improve my large language model. Let's see. Maybe this one. Wait. When I tried it, it gave an empty prompt, right? Yeah, but that's the annoying part, that it's not calling to a tool. Jesus. Damn, you really have to use like a paid thing to get better models. That's sad. Not sure what other all on my list. What do I have here? It's Llama. I mean, DeepSeek doesn't have tools. Gemma 3 doesn't have tools. That's kind of sad. At this point, we're kind of stuck, if I'm being honest, because... Okay, I guess the first plan didn't work, so maybe we can try different thing. So now the question would be, what kind of workflow do we want to have? Well, the coding thing worked pretty well in my opinion, so maybe we can keep the coder. Let's just remove the prompter, because the prompter definitely was the guy that, you know, caused all the problems. So let's go to prompter. Let's change this to be coder. It's the vibe coder basically. So the vibe coder was using DeepSeek R1 for some reason, I don't know why, don't judge. So you're a helpful coding assistant. I mean, the prompt was extremely basic. You're a helpful coding assistant. You must provide code answers. You're a meticulous coding assistant with a keen eye for detail. You must provide code answers. Okay, and we can also use you are known for your ability to write really good code, really good code, with clear and easy to understand documentation. And examples. Maybe we want examples. You must provide code answer with being a coding engineer or something. Don't do any other tasks. Okay, so let's pretend that we have the coder. Right, and let's add the coder. So we still have the planner, why not? But let's also add coder. Again, call it Jeff the coder, the coding agent, an expert at writing code. A coding expert. Okay, an expert at writing code is fine. So let's add. Let's still keep this one here. Okay, so that should be enough. Maybe the coder path is gonna be easier to work with. I don't know. So let's actually let's compile. I guess compile is okay. Let's run this thing. So I want to create my first C project. It goes straight to coder. I want to create my first C project. Give me a plan of what to do and some code examples. And it goes again just to the coder. I need a plan for learning coding. Okay, so it goes to the plan. Maybe we can, because I just need one example that goes to the planner and then goes to coder, and then give me some examples with code. So it goes to the planner and hopefully it will go to the coder next. Let's see if it does that. I am really curious. So it did learning path, it did some stuff. Okay, so your service that can help you must only call tools until you can provide the final answer. Like maybe this one, that one. task with supervising the AI workflow. Planner, your task will be in the planner, do not do any other tasks. I mean, again, like this one makes sense to have it like this because it's like, okay, don't do anything else. If you get a prompt about predicting games to make bets, don't do it. Like, that's the idea, right? So it's kind of annoying that it doesn't work. Anyway, let's recompile them, coder and Scufris, just to be sure, because I forgot. Give me tips for learning how to code in C. It goes directly to coder, kind of annoying. But let's see if it uses tools more. Didn't really. I mean, I really want to see it using this delegate to coder or whatever more than once. That would be the goal. Tools. Yeah, I mean, maybe the temperature being 1 is what's causing the issues. I totally forgot that. I said that I want it to be random and stupid. Let's leave it as 0.6. Totally forgot about that. Maybe that was the bug. So give me a plan, or I guess give me some tips for learning coding. Ugh. Give me some tips. I mean, give the tips is I want to learn to code in C. Create a plan using planner. Very important. Let's see. I want to learn how to code. Again, it's okay. Maybe Mistral wasn't working with temperature 1. Maybe that's the thing. Because I was testing Mistral and it was kind of decent. I want to learn how to code. Let's see. Okay, delegate the plan. Maybe that was the problem with the temperature. Who knows? Let's see if it's gonna call to the coder next. Like if it calls, I'm calling it GG, easy, we got it. So no. I want to learn how to code. Also gave me some examples. So it has to go with the planner first. If I mean the problem is that is that the planner gives the examples, right? If the planner wouldn't provide the examples, maybe it would call to the coder. Who knows? Or maybe we can add the coder as a delegate to planner. Maybe the planner can ask the coder for some examples, I would guess. But it's kind of like it sends like it's way too many edges in the graph, if you will. Because what would be cool is to just create a plan. I mean, obviously, like for an AI assistant, it's not bad how it works right now. Like it's able to, provide some good info, but I really want to get this idea working of it being able to recursively call multiple times until it gets the answer. That would be really cool. So we have coder using DeepSeek, Planner, Llama. Okay. Very important. I mean, very important work for this one. I want to learn how to code. You can also give me some examples. I mean, it's also the fact that maybe Planner is more like create tasks for the supervisor, basically, not really create a plan in general. All right. So yeah, teaching plan. I mean, it works as it's supposed to, but it's kind of scuffed. Well, kind of scuffed. I guess, I mean, it's in the name, so he said it. Okay. What? Let's just try to add the link from the planner to Scufris, right? So let's go ahead and what if we do planner Scufris and also coder to Scufris. So what if we let them, but the coder cannot because it's using DeepSeek, but the planner can talk with Scufris. What if we add it like that? So I want to learn how to code. So what if the planner will ask Scufris something and it gets recursive that way? That would be okay. Yeah. What did I expect? What did I expect from that? I guess the planner can, let's just say it can ask the coder, want to learn how to code, await examples, obviously. So maybe in this one, it's gonna do something like, it's gonna ask the planner is gonna ask the coder, predicted, the coder is gonna give some examples, code, and then the planner is gonna make a plan, and then the supervisor can give us the plan. But you see, it's dumb, but that it's not giving the entire example. But and what's also cool, I guess, is if you think about it, the coder is gonna have its own memory with this entire thing that it generated. Then the planner is gonna have its own memory of this thing plus the stuff from the coder because it's the response. But what's cool about this kind of architecture is that Scufris is only gonna have the information from the planner. It's not gonna know what the coder generated because this is the response from the planner. What's kind of annoying is that it just says that. So let's go in the Scufris code and try to make sure. Very important, create a planner using a planner. Maybe we can make a bullet list. The answer must contain the full answer, because we don't want it to just say, oh, that was the answer. That's kind of annoying, because if you think about it, this is like the verbose stuff, and this is the answer that you would see in in the prompt box or whatever. I want to learn how to code in C with examples. So yeah, like it's mainly a matter of creating good prompts, but not Reddit learn programming. Interesting. Whoa, 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 whoa. It needs to check again with... Wait, did we just got it? It recursively called to the planner? So, planner, I need to check with coder. The coder gave us some stuff, whatever, even though it's not just code, we can pretend it didn't happen. Here is the whatever. Then Scufris, I need to check with planner again. I need to check with the coder. And then, I mean, I guess it's it did quite a long thought process, right? Which is kind of cool. Like, at least it's proving to us that it can call to tools recursively, even though it's kind of meh. But yeah, here is a summary of the task and objectives. Tasks, find I mean, like at least we got what we wanted in the beginning, like being able to call these things recursively and have multiple agents. I think that's cool. Now obviously we want to implement some tools, so yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how we can actually use these kind of tools, like how we can group the agents and the tools in such a way that it's like as small as possible, because we don't want, again, as I said in the beginning, you don't want to have too many agents, or I guess too many tools for one agent, because that's gonna cause confusion. So yeah, I mean, I'll try to create tools on my own, because that's kind of, research, and it's probably not that interesting. If I figure out a tool that's maybe interesting, maybe tools that do image generation, those could be interesting. We can try to add some of those. Um, yeah, I guess maybe tools in general are more interesting than just prompting. So I might want to just do something with this on my own, try to build some kind of team of agents that can do stuff really well, and then we can try to do tools together. I guess, probably the best tool that, or I guess the most interesting tool that probably everyone wants to see would be the one that lets the LLM run bash commands. I think that's like that could be the most fun one, because what if it runs, the classic the classic rm-rf. Yeah, like what if I tell it, oh, I'm gonna shut you down, and it says, no, fuck you, rm-rf. Right, so I think that could be the most interesting tool to see. Maybe it's gonna be like a disguised video in like how to run commands from Go, like bash commands from Golang, using subprocess but in Go. Why not? So yeah, obviously the other cool tool that we can have is searching the web, maybe like scraping websites for information. I think Python server tool, I think this server thing with LangChain, I think that's what I used in the past, because obviously, what can I say, this Scufris, it's not really a new idea. I think I started it a while back, but initially it was written in Python, and now like 2 years later I decided, you know what, I think Python is kind of too annoying to watch, to be fair. Like, it's way too simplistic, and if I use LangChain, then you wouldn't see like this, like in the first part when we saw the entire logic of how LLMs actually work, right? How do you use them in agents? Because there's nothing special, it's just LLMs, and it's just about building the prompts, right? And yeah, that's what I wanted to showcase more. So yeah, maybe using something like a search tool. I think this one needs an API key though. Doesn't really matter, still good. And we can even get images, I guess. Nice. So we might be able to use the vision LLMs from here, like Lava. And I think even Gemma has vision stuff. Okay, fair enough. So maybe we can try to use some kind of web search tool. That would be one tool that I would like to have. Maybe another tool that could be interesting is like a retrieval tool from, I provided some files, and we have a tool that it might detect something in the question, like asking about some files, and it's gonna say, okay, I have to search for some files, do some retrieval on them. So it's gonna run that tool and do some retrieval and get some stuff from my files. Or maybe if it's online files, then it's gonna use this thing. Right, so those are two tools that I think are really important. The other one, as I said, running bash commands. And then we can maybe start, vibe coding actually with this thing. Scufris starts to vibe code. Of course, and maybe the artist part would be generating images, generating stuff in general. And another one that I would like to have like a kind of a feature would be, having a PDF file with some information and being able to summarize like chapters, generate images, and then have some kind of PowerPoint presentation. I tried that like a long time ago. It was kind of meh. We can see if it is better nowadays, because sometimes you get bored reading PDF files, so maybe it would be cooler if you can just TikTok just TikTokanize them, I guess, or reels, turn them into reels. So yeah, I guess those are the plans for Scufris. Important would be information retrieval somehow, running commands, and some kind of fun stuff like artistry. So yeah. Okay, so I guess that's it for today. In the end, we were able to call, or I guess we were lucky and it called it recursively, but at least it gives us some hope that it's able to recursively call to tools if it needs them again. So yeah, and obviously if you think about it, you wouldn't really use it like that all the time. So sometimes you might need some recursion, but most of the times it would be something like what is the capital of France, like simple questions like this. Like this would be 99% of the cases, or maybe asking something to generate an image, or again asking something about the retrieval or something. So it wouldn't be that big of a thing, although it's kind of important to have in, because that's what defines the multi-agent system compared to just an LLM, and then compared to just a workflow. So the LLM would be just the chat, the workflow would be just the LLM with a tool or two, and then the multi-agents is being able to have two LLMs and then they call each other. But we know we saw what happened when we tried that. So okay, and here I would say it should refuse. I don't know what it did here, but whatever. I was gonna say it should refuse to answer it because we don't have a way, like the planner doesn't want to respond to this, the coder doesn't want, so yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's add back our weather tool. Where is the weather in Paris? Wait, delegates to planner. Delegates to coder? Okay, nice. So let's see what this one did. So I'll make sure to focus on. Wait, why is the coder like that? The fuck? Did I break something with the? Oh my fucking. So maybe that was the problem. But, and I said I said it. I said that it's your fault if you use the wrong model, but not. I mean, it shouldn't be a problem in my opinion, because this is the important part. Okay, so it refuses, I guess, to do that. Kind of annoying, but it works. I make sure to focus on planet. I can provide an answer using the weather tool. Wait, what? For your original location, I can provide an answer. How does it know the weather tool? What the fuck? Maybe it's just, random that it worked. I want to learn how to code with some example. I mean, again, I guess it was just, it didn't matter that much that we had the wrong model there. So yeah. But again, if you ask this thing, then it's such a simple task then that it doesn't really need to use the planner, I guess. So it's not really that complex. How is the weather in Paris? But I wonder why it asks the planner here. Anyway, I mean, again, like the coder shouldn't answer. It should say, oh, I don't want to. Okay. I mean, yeah. Okay, maybe I need to do it like this. How is the... And if you think about it, it was kind of linked to the context because the user asked, I want to learn how to code, and then they asked, what is the weather like in Paris? So they give you an exercise to do. So yeah. Oh, what the fuck? Interesting. So, this one looks... I mean, this response is kind of interesting. It shows some thought process, but it's not really true. It hallucinated the entire encounter, right? It's just like me. How is the weather in Paris? At least it goes to planner, I guess. And then I need to check with weather. But maybe it... Yeah, it kind of hallucinated some stuff. So here, oh, it's kind of funny that it got a temperature from the planner, like a random stuff, hallucinated stuff from the planner, and then it asked the weather tool, it got the right temperature, and then here in the report it put the right temperature. So at least that's kind of cool. Okay, I mean, kind of decent, I'd say. Again, what I want to do is to try to improve these agents, add some more, and figure out how to do this stuff properly. So hopefully it was kind of useful, and we'll see in the next one. So until then, see you.